Time. Space. YouTube. It's more than a linear path. It is a prism of endless possibilities, where a single choice to make a video can bring in hundreds of comments telling you you're wrong. I am Tom Gillard. Join me and ponder how you would rank the episodes of What If? Well, hey there guys, Tom here. Welcome back to my movie channel, and thank you very much for joining me for this, my ranking of Season 1 of Marvel's What If. And of course, with every ranking, I have to give the obligatory disclaimer that my ranking of these episodes is going to be different to your ranking of these episodes, and your ranking of these episodes may be different to someone else's ranking. So, you know, it's all subjective. That's the great thing about being fans of movies and shows, that we all have our own different opinions. So make sure you jump down that comment section below and let me know how you would rank the 9 episodes of What If. And the other disclaimer I need to give here very quickly is that this video will contain spoilers for every single episode of What If. So if you are not caught up yet, go and finish watching the show before you come and watch this video, because I will be talking about spoilers for each and every episode. So I'll get to my ranking in just a second, but I want to give some overall thoughts on What If, because this was not a show that I was expecting to like. This was not a show I had little interest in this show. And then, you know, when it dropped, it is a Marvel show, so I'm up for anything Marvel. So I thought I'll give it a try. And I watched the Captain Carter episode, the episode 1, and I thought, that was a really solid episode. And then the show just seemed to get better and better and better for me. And I ended up really falling in love with this show, to the point that, and I'm not using any hyperbole, it's my favorite thing that Marvel's put out so far this year. And that's not to say I've hated everything Marvel's put out this year. I haven't. I enjoyed the first 6.5 episodes of WandaVision. I didn't think that series stuck its landing. Falcon and Winter Soldier I thought was solid. Loki disappointed me. I hated Black Widow, and I really liked Shang-Chi. But I'd be lying to you if I said that What If wasn't my favorite of everything Marvel's put out this year. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to rank the 9 episodes of What If from worst, or, well, not worst, from least favorite to favorite, because I have at least enjoyed all the episodes to varying degrees. There isn't an episode of What If that I hated, that I absolutely disliked. I've at least liked all of them. So let's go from least favorite to most favorite. Here we go. So coming in the 9th spot is the Killmonger episode. This is the episode where Killmonger saves Tony Stark in the desert, and, you know, then Killmonger does what Killmonger does. This was my least favorite episode. Again, I still liked the episode. You know, I didn't hate the episode. I just thought it was, of the 9, it is the weakest of the 9. And this show's main agenda seems to be killing Tony Stark in every episode he appears in, aside from the finale, and we'll get to that in just a second. And while I liked the idea of, like, hey, what happens if, you know, Killmonger saves Tony Stark, I thought, you know, it didn't really live up to its full potential of a what-if storyline. You know, Killmonger still and ultimately achieved his goal, the same goal he did in Black Panther. He just went about it a different way. So I don't think it fully used the what-if-ness of it to its full potential. But hey, I still enjoyed the episode, but it does come in 9th place. Up next is the Captain Carter episode, episode 1. This was the episode that got me involved in this show. This is the episode that got me hooked on this show. And, you know, like, I've always been a big fan of the Peggy Carter character. And yes, while it is just basically the exact same movie or story as Captain America the First Avenger, it's just that now you have Peggy Carter getting the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers. While that is really the only difference, again, not living up to the full what-if potential of it, it just made me love the character of Peggy Carter even more. And really, if there's any character out of any of these episodes that I want a full movie or live-action Disney Plus series of, it's Captain Carter for sure. Like, get Hayley Atwell, put her in a suit, give her a shield, and give her her own movie. She deserves it. I'm all there for it. I want to see a Captain Carter in live action. Bring it on. In 7th place, we have the What If T'Challa was Starlord. Couple of things about this episode. First of all, hearing Chadwick Boseman's voice again, like, if that doesn't make your heart happy and bring tears to your eyes, then are you really a human, or are you just an Ultron bot? Because, like, that just warmed my heart. It really did. Hearing Chadwick Boseman play T'Challa one more time, even if it is only a voice, it just brought so much to the episode because Chadwick Boseman carries with himself an inherent amount of like gravitas. And every time he speaks in that marvelous Wakandan accent, people, you have no choice but to pay attention and respect it. And I thought this episode was really good. And what I loved about this episode, and I know this was like, a point of contention for some people, was Nice Guy Thanos. Thanos being part of like the Guardians of the Galaxy team in a way. I loved Nice Guy Thanos. I want more Nice Guy Thanos. I really do. And I know some people had a problem with, T'Challa talked him out of snapping his fingers in one conversation. That's not exactly how it played out. Like I don't think that was the full implication of what was said there. It's just they said it in one sentence. But I think T'Challa actually talked to Thanos over months and months and months about talking him out of his ultimate plan of snapping his fingers. I don't think it was, hey Thanos, snapping your fingers is a bad idea. You're right, T'Challa, snapping my fingers would be a bad idea. I don't think it was that. Like, I think it happened over the course of a long time and probably took a lot of convincing. But hey, if anybody can talk someone down off a ledge, it's Chadwick Boseman playing T'Challa. Just a quick side note here. It is kind of funny to see how many people on Twitter throughout the course of these episodes really don't get what the concept of what if is. There are a lot of people on Twitter, really stressing over things that, make no sense with the rest of the MCU in this show. And it's like, the show's called What If. It was really amusing to see how many people on Twitter just completely missed the entire concept of this show. It's just amusing to me. Okay, coming in next on the list is the Doctor Strange episode. This, for a lot of people, was a lot of people's like favorite episode of this show. I don't love this episode like most people do. At least I didn't the first time. And I went back and actually rewatched this episode because I was like, the Doctor Strange episode didn't really do it for me. And then I went back and rewatched it and I was like, actually, you know what? This is better than I thought it was the first time around. This episode really was a character piece, like about Stephen Strange and what happens with, again, the MCU dealing with, grief and loss and what that can do to certain characters. And of course, Doctor Strange, being split into two. And this was really the first like hint of, there are bigger things to come. This was our big hint of, hey, this show might not just be complete standalone episodes. This thing isn't all connected, as of course we later found out. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters in Marvel and in the MCU, and he's certainly one of the standouts, if not the standout, of the What If series, aside from maybe Peggy Carter, who I love in this show. Can you tell I'm having fun and I really love this show? Can you tell? I don't know if you can tell. I love this show. Coming at numero 5 is the Party Bro Thor episode. Listen, the idea that Thor was born an only child and goes around to different planets and just throws parties and then like, oh no, mum's coming home, we have to clean up an entire planet. Like, we can all relate to Thor in that way. Come on, guys. We've all thrown a party, realized mum was coming home sooner than we thought, and then we've gathered all our friends and said, you've got to help me clean up before my mum gets home. Like, I love that idea that you have this Thor that just goes around and throws parties on all these planets. It was just hilarious. This episode was so funny, and the fight between him and my girl, Captain Marvel, was like insanely good. I loved that fight. And I love like Captain Marvel, she wasn't a huge presence throughout this show, which was a little bit of a different disappointment to me because I love the Captain Marvel character. But I love that like, she just pops up here and there to kick some ass and have a show-stopping moment and then she's out. But her and Thor having a massive fight and then ending up with her helping Thor at the end and, lying to Frigga for him essentially. I thought that was fantastic. It was one of my favorite scenes in the entire show. And then we got to talk about Loki, like being a frost giant, because of course Odin never took him. And I saw someone on Twitter say this was Loki, like not corrupted by anything. Loki is just Loki and he's completely a good guy. And, he's mischievous, obviously, but he doesn't have any bad intentions. He's just a good dude. He's a good giant dude. And really, if Odin wasn't such a bad father, this episode shows the bond that Thor and Loki could really have had Odin not been a terrible parent. Okay, in the 4th spot, and this might be a contention with some people, I don't know. I haven't looked online since I saw the finale like 20 minutes ago. Next on the list is the finale. And I liked the finale, don't get me wrong. I just happen to like the next ones more than the finale. I thought the finale was great though. I really did. I love the idea that we're right into it. You've got the Watcher going around recruiting all the Guardians of the Multiverse. And I love the way this episode starts with Peggy Carter in the Winter Soldier kind of stealth outfit, and they're doing their Winter Soldier what if. And it basically plays out the exact same way as the Winter Soldier movie starts. And you've got, her and the strike team and Black Widow. By the way, and maybe this is just me, but I'm watching Captain Carter talking to Black Widow and their friendship. And in about 5 seconds, you really get attached to those two as besties. You just buy it instantly. Am I the only one that ships those two characters? Am I the only one that's come on guys, I can't be the only male out there, or female, whatever you float your boat. I can't be the only one out there that's Captain Carter and Black Widow would make a sensational couple. But regardless, I love their friendship, and I love that, the Watcher just goes, "You're coming with me, you've been chosen." And then he goes and he recruits T'Challa as Starlord, and then they have that big fight with Ultron. And then, of course, Killmonger does what he does and tries to get the stones, and then they trap them in the little sphere. Look, I really enjoyed the finale. I did. I thought the finale was great. But as I said, I enjoyed the next 3 episodes a lot more. So we're down to number 3. Number 3 on the list is the Hank Pym episode, the Avengers getting assassinated and they don't know who by episode. This was a fantastic episode. It really was. And it really showed how powerful those Ant-Man suits can really be. Because really, what it really shows is if Hank Pym or Scott Lang wanted to, they could take out all the Avengers like that, and literally the Avengers don't know what hits them. Hank Pym took out the Hulk. That's how powerful those suits are. And again, dealing with the theme of loss, because Hank Pym lost hope. And this episode really, I think, was also kind of Black Widow and Nick Fury's time to shine. And I love that, Nick Fury and Loki made a deal to, help each other out. I love that. But I thought this episode was solid. I like the next one more, though. The next one on this list is, I think it's the zombie episode, right? Yeah. It's What If Marvel Zombies. Listen, this was my favorite episode for a while. You all know what the last one on the list is now, but the zombie episode, I don't think this episode, hit with a lot of people as much as it hit with me. But out of all the episodes, this was my most anticipated one. Because I was like, come on, man. Come on. Turn half the Avengers into zombies? Okay, I'm down. Especially after watching Army of the Dead earlier this year. I'm now on a zombie kick. But I loved this episode. You know what I loved about this episode, though? First of all, not only does Marvel seem to have an obsession in this show with killing Tony Stark, they also have an obsession with killing Vision as many times as they possibly can. Vision, of course, in this episode dies once again, this time doing something a little bit more heroic, even though he did something kind of bad. But I love this episode for what it did story-wise and character-wise. I love, absolutely fucking love the friendship that was formed in this episode between Wasp and Peter Parker. That, to me, was fan-freaking-tastic. I want those two on a buddy road trip movie sometime. Give me more Wasp and Peter Parker together any day of the week. I'm all about it. I love that friendship. But then I love the idea that in WandaVision, it was Wanda struggling with the grief of losing Vision. And in this episode, we get to see the complete reverse of that. Wanda is now a zombie and Vision is trying to, lure everybody so she can feed on them to essentially keep her alive. It's what happens, when Vision is struck by this incredible grief. Also, look, Scott Lang as just a talking head in a glass, tube thingy with the cape. Come on, man. Come on. Ant-Man as a talking head. I'm all come on, man. What more do you want? But yeah, the zombie episode, freaking awesome. I've rewatched that episode 3 or 4 times because I love that episode. I thought it was fan-fucking-tastic. We are now at number 1. My favorite episode of What If is the Ultron episode. It is the penultimate episode, the 8th episode of What If. What if Ultron won? It's my favorite episode. I love how this episode starts with Natasha and Clint, and they're the only 2 surviving ones. And Hawkeye's got this sick, metal arm. Loved that. And I loved, this whole episode is just, this was again on Twitter. It was a meme that I saw that said, this episode of What If is just like half an hour of the Watcher just completely panicking, because that's all he did all episode. He was like, no, you're so close. No, not that one. No, the other box. I loved all of that. And then of course, like Ultron getting all the stones, Ultron slicing Thanos in half, like just like that, like he was nothing. Like, interesting. Zzz. Oh, Thanos is cut in half, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Which it does kind of make you wonder, like, when Thanos grabbed Vision in Infinity War, and he was holding him up and he was about to grab the Mind Stone, Vision could have just gone zzz and cut him in half. Couldn't he? Maybe. I don't know. And I know some people might have the complaint of like, well, of course Marvel is going to interconnect this show. Like, I know some people see that as a bad thing. I don't personally. Like, I understand that point. I do. Because this show was kind of sold on the premise of, you know, their individual standalone what if kind of Elseworld stories. They don't really have any connection to each other. And then we get to the end and we find out, oh no, they're all connected. And some people see that as a negative. And I personally don't. Like, I don't see it as a negative. But I'm also okay with it. Like, it's fine, you know? But this episode of What If is my favorite episode. I think because of, like, to me, this episode really solidified what this show is. It took a concept of, like, asking a question of, what if in Age of Ultron, Ultron won instead of the Avengers? And then we fast forward a bit in time and Ultron goes and gets the stones and then breaks through finds out there is a multiverse and goes through and then he ends up fighting the Watcher. The Watcher decides to get involved. And come on, man, that fight between the Watcher and Ultron, that was like some like Marvel going full like Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z shit on us. So anyway, guys, I want to know in the comment section below, what did you guys think of What If? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I don't know if anyone loved it as much as me, because anyone I talk to, I'm the one that loves it the most. I just absolutely fell in love with this show. I wasn't expecting to, but I did, and now we're here. So what do you guys think of What If? How would you rank the episodes? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know what you think right down there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notifications bell so that you never miss out on my take on all things movies. My name is Tom, and I will see you guys next time.